Hey, what's going on, everybody? Got another video here for you today. This one is on a little bit of an interesting piece. This is the District 9 knife, and it also has been customized by TiSurvival. If you guys had seen one of my previous videos on the Kwaiken, Boker Kwaiken flipper, you'll see the work that Esteban over at TiSurvival had done. And so I got this piece from a fellow knife nut, knife collector. You guys probably know him, Carter. His YouTube channel and Instagram is Blade_Brotherhood, or just Blade Brotherhood. He's also gone by Zixu, some number at the end, and also some other names too. But most currently, as of today's date in the video, he's as Blade Brotherhood. So I got this piece from him, and then I sent it off to Esteban at TiSurvival to do work on. Give you a nice full view of it here. So I won't get too much, well, I probably will get too much into the details because I always do. But the story behind this knife is it is an import piece. It comes from a manufacturer in China. There will be some assumptions, or I guess maybe opinions as to the design of this knife. If you listen to Carter's video, which I'll put a link in the bottom, and what a number of other people believe is that this is actually an original design by this Chinese knife company or Asian knife company. Now, what a lot of us think is that it's a manufacturer that does manufacturing for a number of other name brands, or will do runs of pieces for other name brand knife companies. And what possibly occurred is that they, put this piece out in their market and on some of their the Asian distributors sites like AliExpress or thegreatwall.com, and just sold it as their own piece because someone there just designed it and put it out. And then what occurred is that other major, bigger name companies that you guys know of saw this and asked to have a piece done similar to it. And what you guys will see out there is most likely that looks like this are the Schrade 301s, which have this almost exact same handle pattern and similar blade shape, blade design with the hole in the middle. However, the materials on those are much less or lower end materials than you would find on this piece. The other one that you might see coming out soon is the Kershaw Lifter. Very similar to this, except that it has a recurve in the blade, but the handle looks very similar. The main differences in the Schrades and the new Kershaw is that they do a different pattern in the handle. So they'll do either a diamond pattern or just a flat stone wash and not have these actual dash lines. And that the pocket clip might be tip up instead of tip down. And then once again, the materials aren't as high end as these are to be. So, getting into this knife. Really cool piece for the money. When these were online, or when they were available through those international sites, they were selling for $99 plus shipping. I got this on a great deal from Carter when I inquired about getting it, because I couldn't find it anywhere else, and I really just love the look of this knife. And after getting my Boker Kwaiken Plus flipper done by Esteban, I thought this would be a great piece for Esteban to work on too. And that gets into the materials 4 minutes in. So, this knife has a VG10 blade. Do some macros at this point for you. A little Terra Fanatic action. You can see it says District 9 on this side. And then right here, VG10 blade. That's a really nice steel. I really like VG10. It's, I believe, a Japanese steel. You'll see it used in a lot of Makustas and then a lot of other higher-end Japanese cutlery. A number of the other major companies will outsource their stuff to, Taiwan, Japan, China, and those places usually are able to get the VG10. But from what I've seen, it's a pretty nice higher-end steel. Now, the handles are full titanium. So it's a titanium slab on each side, and it's a frame lock. The pocket clip is titanium. It has the Hinderer lock bar stabilizer / over travel, which I would assume is not licensed on this knife. They just put it on there, but always a nice feature to have. It also has a steel lock bar insert. I don't know if you guys can see it through there. Maybe you can see it on the opposite side. Yeah, so you see that little piece, that's actually the lock bar insert. So a number of high quality pieces on this. You know, let me see if I can get some more light in here. I don't really like too much light on it because you don't see the colors as well, but pop this back open and see if you can see those items in there. Yeah, that's a little bit better now. So you can see that lock bar insert in there. And even through this side. Yeah. I mean, lock up, you're right about 40%. And you see I can't push it over anymore. It is a flipper. Flips nicely. It isn't the smoothest thing you'll ever have. I mean, as far as like quickness, it's smooth. You can see, but you need to give it sometimes a little bit of wrist action every once in a while. Otherwise, if you have it at a slight downward or just horizontal, it opens fine. But you also have to remember not to squeeze on the lock bar too on the other side. It is a little, your finger sometimes will get over on that and hold it back, but you can see here, flips out fine. Even if you really think about it, you can pretty much get it to flip vertically if you wanted to with no wrist action. You know, you just have to put a little bit more thought and effort into it. But pretty much it's more of a push button type to flip it open. But originally how this came was that this blade was how it is now. It's this dark stone wash, really nice dark stone wash. I like it a lot. It's kind of a graphite color to it, with the Tonto, multi-ground kind of flat ground or a hollow ground here, and then Tonto grind there. These nice thumb studs on both sides. So if you don't want to use the flipper, if you want to just use the thumb stud, really easy to get grip. They put the nice texturing on there. That's on both sides. You gotta have that chainring bolt, a little Strider type bolt on this side to give it some character. Obviously the milling on there, the frame lock design, the titanium pocket clip. I think in Carter's video he wasn't a big fan of the clip. Something about pulling it out was an issue with how that bottom piece is. I've put it in and out of the pocket and haven't had any issues. I like it a lot. It's not super deep carry, but it is pretty deep carry once you have it in. Sorry, I bumped the camera there. Once you have it in the pocket, just about that much is showing, because it does go pretty far in. So right at that dot, right about there, and you have the lanyard hole too. So for $99, if you did get this from one of those sites that had these going on, I think it's a pretty amazing deal. I mean, the one thing you can't really test is this really VG10 or not? Well, I don't really know how you would, except to get a metallurgical machine out, but I've cut paper with it. It cuts fine. Not that that's a really great test of it. It does say the VG10 stamped on there. I mean, the really thing is to maybe put it against like a rust corrosion test or something like that. But at this point, because the titanium turned out to be real titanium, I would go with that it probably is a VG10. Maybe there's different grades of VG10, but it's nice. I mean, to get this thick titanium slabs, the standoff design, the lanyard hole, the design of it I think looks great. It has kind of a little bit of a hoback look to it, as well as just an industrial touch, and I think with the anodizing that I had Esteban do, it gives a little bit more of a slightly steampunk look, an antique type look too. So I think it really went well. But once again, the features: a Hinderer lock bar stabilizer, a steel lock bar insert, really thick titanium slabs, VG10 blade, flipper design. I mean, it's pretty outstanding for that money, and obviously I got it a good deal from Carter. Now, the other thing that I did when it came originally is this was just all kind of one monotone color, the stone wash here, and then it was just plain titanium with a stone wash on the titanium. So what I had Esteban do was bronze the front scale, and he did a really great job. It's really cool. It's a nice, I told him to do just a nice light bronze, so it was shimmery, not just a dark color. And you can see there's still some like greens and purples in there that come through, kind of that gasoline light touch to it. But when you can see it sitting here in the light nicely, it gives a nice contrast to this blade now. So you have the dark stonewash here, and then the stone. I didn't have him refinish them at all. I had him just leave the stonewash finish that was on here and just anodize it. So you have that nice bronze color to it. Then, as you guys have seen, I like his striped or circle pattern that he does, but I wanted it a little bit tighter. He usually spaces it out a little bit more, and I also wanted it to be more of just a flame look than a bright anodized look. So you can see here what he did was he tightened up that pattern, and you have these really great streaks. And it sometimes looks in the wrong light like this part was missed, but it has to do with, I guess, how this District 9 part was in there and how the stonewash was. But you can see each line is perfectly, you know, nicely spaced out. So you have the lines, they match up on the pocket clip going all the way across. And once again, I kind of wanted more of that Strider flame look that they do there, but with Esteban's own twist on it. And you can even see, you know, across the sides here what a nice job it is. And even when you look down the back, the nice contrast between the two scales, the bronze here and then the nice flame pattern here. And I just think it gives it a lot of character and has it stand out from everyone else's District 9 that whoever else has got these. I just wanted mine to be a little bit different, and because it is titanium and this anodizing, because it's flame and I don't know if it's electro anodized on this side, I think it's flame anodized on both sides, the way Esteban does it. But you can shoot, you now know it, this is titanium. I mean, obviously just weight-wise, if this was stainless steel, like if you weighed the Schrade 301s, those weighed around, I don't know, 12 or 13 ounces because they're all steel, and then it's a, you know, steel blade, where this weighs, I want to say, around 7 ounces or so. So just off the bat, the weight, you know it's titanium because of the lightweightness, and then the way it was anodized too proves that it's titanium on here. Same thing with that Kershaw lifter. It's going to be stainless steel frames, and the steel blade is going to be, I want to say, like 8C13 MOV or AUS8 or something like that, where this you're getting the VG10. Additionally, what I like about it is you have this great grip here in the hand, and you have this dip too. I mean, there's a lot of interesting, good details on this knife besides just the you know, the additions of all the special pieces like those on there, but just the ergonomics on it. Your thumb, how this drops in right here, feels great. And then the choil, you can choke up nicely on. They put this swedge on here, but it's not a swedge that's going to irritate your finger. It's not going to be a pointy swedge where your finger's going to, you know, if you're pushing hard on this, it's going to kind of dig in there. They cut out these sections here on the VG10 steel, but left it nice and flat across the top. And then you have this really thick edge here and a nice thick point too. It is very pointy at the Tonto piece here, but it's thick as well, so it's not going to snap off. So you can definitely do some piercing with this. You can do some hard slicing, and then you can choke up and really dig in, you know, whatever you need to do there. Additionally, it came fairly sharp. I'm surprised at how sharp it came in both the main belly and also in the Tonto piece here. But once again, the job on this anodizing by Esteban just really makes it pop off on here. And the other neat thing about it, Esteban did, is that I don't believe, I myself wasn't able to get this apart, and neither was, I don't believe Esteban was either. We could get out all the frame screws, the pocket screws, all that stuff, but the actual pivot is a hex, and none of my hexes fit it right, and you need a spanner tool or some kind of special tool for this side to hold this straight too. And even Esteban, with the tools he had, couldn't get this apart. It's Loctited too. He heated it, couldn't get that done. So he actually was able to anodize color this whole piece with it still together. You know, I'm not sure exactly how he was able to do that, but the functioning of it still works perfectly. You can see it still flips nicely. The lockup is almost exactly the same as where it was when I first got it, which was right around 40%. And it's a nice thick lock bar on here. How the pocket clip obviously being on matched up everything nicely. So really superb work by him. Pretty outstanding work by the Chinese company that put this together or designed this, just both in the aesthetics of it and the function and form of the knife. Pretty impressive, and just a nice thing to have in my collection, especially if I am going to start carrying this a lot, because it wasn't that expensive. Like I said, under $100. Esteban's work, you know, $30 or less. $15 just for anodizing, $30 if you want to have anodizing and another finish on there, like a polish or a stonewash or a blasted, which I didn't really need on this one. The other thing too is I don't believe this is on bearings, even though if you see here it says District 9 titanium alloy bearing. When I really looked at this, it doesn't seem, it just looks like it's washers in there. I mean, you can see that kind of bronze coloring, and it doesn't look like there's enough space that there's actually any kind of bearings in there. And also just the way it feels, it's just very smooth across. It doesn't want to just drop of any kind, but it just is a smooth action all the way through. And you can even open this with the, you know, with the thumb studs, flicking it out with your thumb if you wanted to, you know. But I'm just always a flipper guy, so I'll just flip it out. But that's everything on this. I just want to give a quick cut test and then a quick comparison as far as size goes. So, paper. Flare this out a little bit for you. So you can see the belly works fine, and then we'll try to show you the tanto sharpness too. Get this over for you. Give myself a little bit more space to work with. I mean, that's pretty good right there. And then just piercing. I don't know. Seems like a great piece of work here. I'm pretty impressed with it. I love the new look of it with the anodizing, with the bronze and the flame. So that's there for your cut tests. And then give you a little look at the other Esteban work that I had done. This was my Boker Kwaiken Plus titanium model that he did. Great work on that too, just so you can see size comparison. And really the difference in the work that he can do. I mean, this is high polished, really different color look with his worm pattern or snake pattern or random pattern as he calls it, here with the bronze. And then even when you flip these over, you can see this gives you that dark, just flame look, where this is that high-end, high-popping color. Two totally different pieces. This is more of my dress wear piece, you know, if I'm going to a nice event and I want to have something sleek, just the way that the whole blade drops in there, how this feels, how it looks. And this is more of my rugged, you know, cargo shorts, going out in the woods, cutting up some trees kind of thing. But you can see size-wise, this blade is around 3.6 inches, so blade-wise pretty close to the Kwaiken. Give you a look at something else I had bronzed, and talking about the difference in the bronzing. This was, or this is my Macusta, or Macusta, and this is VG10 steel as well. VG10, and it's a Sanmai finish on there. But you can see the difference in the bronzing too. Now this is Damascus on here that was bronzed by Tough Thumbs of Tough Knives, who did the pimp job on this one. But you can see I didn't really want the, and this once again is Damascus and this is titanium, but on this one I wanted the lighter bronzing, and so you can see the difference in the bronzes. Pretty neat on that. So two VG10 blades, titanium versus Damascus. Here's another look at another Tanto, because I really like Tantos. That's my Jarrah's Full Tech 75. But you can see the Tanto looks there, but then also the size comparison as well. And then lastly, just something else you guys might be familiar with, my Browse reloader. Another Tonto here, just so you can see the size on this. There you go, pretty close. This is a 3.5-inch blade. But that's all that. So right at the 20-minute mark, I'll cut this off. Thanks guys for checking this out. Please check out Esteban. Also check out Carter's channel if for whatever reason you don't subscribe to his stuff yet. And hopefully we'll get some more knives in here to get some more looks at. Thanks a lot.